I believe that just rising up every day and empowering somebody around you, or empowering a smaller group around you, you never know who is watching you. And once you get to that point that you understand that I'm operating a certain way every time, I'm be consistent in what I do, it's easy to come through. And the strive, it's not hard. You make it harder than what it had to be. Because once you put the foundation in, it's easy for you to do it.
The Rise and Thrive campaign aims to amplify local entrepreneurs and business leaders in the Mississippi Delta. Meet the owner of Brown Tactical Solutions. His story of entrepreneurship is filled with gems to inspire a new generation of leaders. Here is his story.
Hello, my name is Terrance Terrell Brown. I'm originally from Dundee, Mississippi. The name of my business is Brown Tactical Solutions, Privatized Security and Investigation Agency. I graduated from Rosewood High School. And the whole time I was in high school, I played football. I was associated with the band and several other sports and different things. And I always was the protector of all the young ladies around me. Everybody from my classmates to the young ladies there, when I was helping out with the band and being around the band, I was always the protector around them. And I said at one point in time that I'm gonna start me a business. But being a good old Southern young man from the south end of Tunica County, most things I knew about were hunting and fishing. But my protective nature turned into something else. I literally was out one night in Memphis and a situation happened and I helped someone, not knowing that this person owned a security company. He didn't know that I was not old enough to even work in security, but I was big, so he hired me on. And that particular young man passed away about 5-6 years ago, Mr. Rogers. And what Mr. Rogers did was, he said, well, he always called me Young Buck. He said, Young Buck, I'm gonna tell you what, he said, I'm gonna teach you how to start your own business. And he showed me the steps of how to actually start a business. So I took that. One of my friends and close friends, Anthony Jackson, always said this. He said, eat the meat and spit out the bone. The stuff I seen him struggle with, I learned from that instead of me doing the same struggles. So I took his blueprint, fit it for what I was capable of doing, and I kept rolling with it. It still took another, 5-6 years while I was in college to actually realize, realize how to start a business. Because back in the day, it wasn't the internet when I started my business. Not that good. So I had to go to the library and figure it out. And then I didn't know at the time there was a bunch of grants, money, loan money out here for minority business. I started my business in my grandmother's house, mailed in all my paperwork to the Secretary of State and all that. And that's how I started. And from that point on, I just, every time I got a chance to do a contract, I always went above and beyond so my name would get out there. One of the biggest challenges that I had to deal with after year number 6, I believe, of my company, I didn't understand the tax side of it. And I was being brutally honest with the IRS. Every cent I made, whether it was a personal check, it was cash for an event we did, I would put in the business account. But I never was paying business taxes on it. I thought they was getting the taxes out of like a normal paycheck. I didn't know that side of it. So finally, what ended up happening was I ended up getting audited. I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, well, I put the money in my account, and the lady audited me. Shout out to Miss Regina Walls. Miss Regina Walls was the lady that audited me, and she taught me so much about the tax side of a business that I can do it now with my eyes closed. But she told me, she said, a young man, she said, your problem is you being too honest. She said, IRS has no way of tracking cash. She said, you putting every cent that you make here for your business in your business account. She said, you're not paying taxes. She said, at the end of the year, what happens is they file a grievance, the IRS file a grievance against you, we audit you, then we come in, you paying for the audit, you paying the back taxes, and then you paying all the penalties. She said, the amount of money that you made, you ate all that up with taxes. Then she also told me about every receipt. If I sit down and meet with somebody just on a consultation, if I buy them a bottle of water, keep that receipt. Write everything off at the end of the year. Everything that she taught me, I literally took all those notes, wrote them down, typed them out, and kept them on a wall everywhere I went to and worked at. So I knew what to do. Then a few years later, I was in a different tax bracket, and she told me, hey, you must pay every quarter now. She said, if you pay every quarter, you'll be ahead. And I realized, okay, this amount coming in, this contract is paying this. I would see what the state tax was. I'll make sure I get the state tax out the way. And I look at what the federal tax was. I get that out the way. Over half of my money, when it came down to the security business, I would take and I just have a separate account strictly for taxes. So I would never touch that money. I just pay my taxes. And that kept them off my back and kept them and still off my back to this day. And it was just like people like that poured into me. She didn't have to do that because she worked for the IRS at the time. But she felt like, okay, you not being deceitful, you're just actually trying to help yourself. And you said you just was doing it the wrong way. So I really appreciate those people that actually helped me move through that part, because there was so many different people pour so many different things in my life. What got me my biggest contract when I first started my business, I was at Mississippi Valley State. Shout out to Mississippi Valley State University playing football. David Banner came for homecoming. Somehow they didn't have enough security. And a guy that was associated with David Banner was asking football players or anybody that wanted to do security. I'm like, I already been doing it. I know a little bit about it. So the guy talked to me, I told him, well, I've done security in Memphis and several other places, and I know the gist of what you want. So what do you need from me? And he said, well, we want you to step backstage. This who allowed to come back here, this who's not. Well, one of the people he wanted to say the program came back there didn't have the proper credentials. And lo and behold, this was David Banner's actual manager. Did not know this. He didn't have the proper credentials. Everybody around the inner circle knew who he was. But when he approached me about coming to the backstage area, I simply explained, sir, without the proper credentials or someone calling me on the radio or someone coming up to me and an expression that you're supposed to be in here, I'm not gonna allow you to come in here. I said, there's no disrespect. I'm not trying to be out of pocket or anything. I said, but this is a safety issue. I said, so I'm gonna need you to either try to get on the phone and talk to someone, or I'm gonna try the radio and get someone here. And he was like, do you know who I am? I said, sir, once again, I don't know who you are. You explained to me who you are. I said, but my job states that I must do this. So it went back and forth for a few minutes, and he finally pulled his phone out and called David's actual head of security. Well, he came there and he told him what was going on with me, and the head of security was laughing, and they walked away. I'm just thinking like, okay, it is what it is. I did my job. I probably ain't gonna never do this again if he come back here, but okay. So it went from there. So I played a football game, and next weekend we had an off game. The head of security for David at the time called me, asked me could I go to Baton Rouge, Louisiana with them. I'm like, I said, well, yeah, I'm off. I said, we don't have a football game this weekend. He said, okay. He said, do you have a vehicle? I had a vehicle at the time. I drove down to Jackson, Mississippi. We met up with them. All us got in David Banner. He had the van that he had the recording studio in, that him and somebody else drove. Then he had another van. I got in the second van with them. We went down. He went down and listened to the show. And lo and behold, I know that this particular man was actually showing me what niche I had, because I could do my job, and I was extremely polite and respectful. That wasn't evasive to people. It didn't make people seem like I was trying to be a tough guy. And it went from there to me getting other contracts when he performed in Jackson, Mississippi. Then they started telling me put a team together. I was so naive with this thing. I didn't know I didn't supposed to pay everybody the exact same amount of money I was getting paid. I made no profit. The only money I made was the money I had for doing the event myself. I did not know how to charge. So that was a big lesson to me. One of the biggest turning points in my journey was, I believe it was 2003. 2003, I was contracted out to do some bodyguard work for an artist for Memphis in May. And I didn't know who the artist was, didn't care, really. When I submitted my invoice for the amount of money I wanted to charge, they didn't have a problem with it. But that particular artist also had ties to Def Jam South. He had ties to several other up-and-coming artists at the time. And what ended up happening was he had a certain thing that he wanted to ride in. I did not own that type of vehicle. And one of the stipulations of me having a contract, I must have 3 of the exact same vehicles for him to ride in. So what I ended up doing, I had a buddy that worked at a rental place. Reached out to him. Mind you, at this time, the only credit card I have does not have the limit to rent 3 SUVs. My buddy almost got fired because he put one of the vehicles on his credit card and allowed me to take it. But we went and did the detail, came back with nothing wrong with the vehicle. We made sure the artist and his entourage did not smoke in the vehicle with no damage done to the vehicle. Turned the vehicles back in. His manager was talking to him about it and realized what was going on. I had to go back and I literally explained. I said, look, I just did the biggest contract I ever did in my life for my security company. I said, I would love for this to be a forever thing with Enterprise where if artists come in, I can use your vehicles if we don't have the particular vehicles they need. I said, the gentleman that actually helped me get the 3rd vehicle literally saved my company. I said, because this is the biggest contract I ever had. I said, now, if it's a situation with the monetary part of it, I said, you tell me what extra I need to pay right now. I said, I'll pay it to make sure he don't lose his job. And the manager was like, so you willing to pay? He said, if I just throw out a crazy number like $2,000, I said, $2,000 you give me, I said, give me 10 minutes, I'll go to the bank and I'll bring it right back to you. If you want any cash, I said, if you want it on the card, I said, I can give you my bank card, we can just swipe the card right now. I said, this is literally the biggest contract I ever had in my life. I said, this just proved to me that what I'm doing now is what I need to be doing. And from that point on, I still have a working relationship with Enterprise. In order to succeed in any entrepreneurial business, when you take losses, learn from them. Don't be bitter. When you bitter, say, well, I ain't gonna never let nobody do this to me. They ain't gonna never do this to me no more. No, you too busy to worry about trying to get the next person. I done got. I just learned my lesson. I wrote a 4-page contract for my company. It's ironclad. It's 85% heavy for me and my company. Don't argue with people about not paying invoices. I just smile, walk away. You don't pay invoices at the end of the night with me and you don't sign this contract, I got all your information, copy your driver's license and all that, your home address, not where you're doing the event at. 30 days from now, I send you a certified letter in the mail because you refused to pay the invoice. Well, during that 35-day period, it occurs 6.5% interest every day after you not paying the invoice. So you do the math. If you owe me $2,500 at the end of the night and you choose not to pay me, I don't argue with you because I got 65% of my money up front. That's enough to take care of my people. The money on the back end was going to be profit for the company. So I just wait. And I send you that letter. You sign off on it. You seeing that you're being sued in small claim court about this invoice that you ain't seen and then wasn't even worried about, you think you done got over. Well, just to be petty, when we show up to court, not only are you gonna have to pay me because it's in black and white, but my lawyers also. Part of that contract, they said you can pay my court costs and my lawyer fees. So I don't even have to pay my lawyers. I hold the mistakes I made. I learn from them. And I watch other companies go under that was established long before me. But when I see what happened with them, it also showed me how to shift my focus. Now, at one point in time, I was doing like a lot of other security companies. I was literally sending my people out to get the license, get trained here, do that and that up. That was the dumbest thing ever. Because I'm paying $140 here, $200 in this state, another $300 in this state. This might be 5, 6 people. I looked into it and see what I need to do. I went and got all the licensures myself. So if I gotta train somebody to get an armed guard license in Tennessee, why send it to somebody else when I can do it myself? And then that also helps me keep people on staff, because I'll train anyone. But if you decide you want to work for my company, you're gonna sign an 18-month contract with me stating that once I get you these licenses and whatever state you're in, for 18 months, you're on call for me unless you're full time. So that means that if anything goes on and I need you, I can call you. If you try to deviate from that, I politely call state board, have your license suspended or revoked because you failed to honor your part of the contract. Competition in my industry, it's not really competition. I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's a lot of backbiting and a lot of people are afraid of hard work. So people will look at me like, well, hold on, how did he get this contract? My work speaks for itself. We have working relationships with over 65 different law enforcement bodies. I can go in pretty much any state and want to and work and let them know that we coming in, send them all a copy of my business license, my liability insurance, all that, and let them know the name of the people that are coming in. They don't have a problem with it. I also employ a lot of part-time police officers. So when it comes out of competition, I don't look at it competition. I look at it, if you've been in your business, you want your business to work, we can sit down and talk about this, and I can show you how to do it. One of the biggest things is people want to underbid you. And I ran through a situation where somebody said, hey, well, I don't read you got this contract, you underbid me. I said, no. I was gonna be honest with you. I said, I am very high. As I know what my company worth is, I know what my people worth is. I'm not gonna underbid anybody to get a contract. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna come in $5,000 to $10,000 above the bid price. And then when people look at that, they be like, what make you think this is our budget? What make you think we'll use your company for this budget? I said, well, 80% of my company is private military law enforcement. 80% of my company has actual licensures to do this in 16 other states. Your business at this point in time is traveling, doing it. Why constantly try to hire local security when you have a team that come on there and know your people, know who can go back and forth out of different venues? I said, so for them to do that, the price must be this. I said, and I always tell business owners, I said, what's your life worth? What's your business worth? If you're making $500,000 a year doing your business, but you're only paying $20 an hour for security when you need them, not very many people are going to be willing to take certain type of risk for $20 an hour, especially when they know the risk that come with it. It is so easy to start a business in the state of Mississippi. The state of Mississippi makes it almost candy-like to start a business here. You go to this, instead of going to the Secretary of State office beginning, first thing you do, find a business name that's gonna adequately, it's gonna be easy for people to remember. Once you do that, make sure your business name is not operated under by another company. Google works. You can Google the business name. If it don't pop up in Mississippi or the surrounding states where you can be confused with somebody else, use it. Thirdly, go to IRS, get your IEN number, file your LLC through the Secretary of State of Mississippi, and your business license can be done in your state clerk's office. When you get your tax return, you go in and get your business license. Most business licenses in Mississippi starts from anywhere from $25 to, I think the highest one I seen was around like $1,000. That's it. You can start a real estate business in Tunica County for $325. You just gotta know what it is, and you gotta be willing to ride the waves. Because at one point in time, you're gonna get so much business, you don't know what to do with it. And pay your taxes, because your business license will get revoked if you do not pay your taxes. One of the biggest setbacks I had was I was in a hurry to grow my business, and I started hiring people that didn't represent my business and my brand name the way it's supposed to be. I started hiring guys that they had the credentials, but they didn't have the mindset to deal with the type of people that I was dealing with. And that was putting a strain on my business to the point that I almost lost my business completely. So I had to learn from those mistakes and ease away from those people. And several of those people that was a part of that, I actually helped them start their own security business in other states. One of the biggest supporters of my business is IDS Entertainment. And anytime they have an event going on, whether it's at the casino, River Park, whatever, Chris Max Harris will always call me. And he always been one of those guys. I've been knowing him for years. He's a brother to me. He always made sure that the people around him were striving for more. And even if I had an event going on in Jackson, Tennessee, if he called me, I'm putting together the best team I possibly can for him. I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna work with him because our partnership together always has worked. He allowed me to do my job, allow my people to do their job. He just give us the direction. And it's easy to work with, versus other places where everybody want to micromanage, and that's not how we operate, because you can't critique everything when we have a system in place. Other local business that was here, San Diego Noble, when he had several business ventures with him, had several business ventures with Martis Jones. I had Johnny Holmes, who he was staying here in Tunica. He had several nightclubs that I did business with him. It's a bunch of people from this local area that I've done a lot of business with. And actually with Johnny Holmes, he actually owns a record label now in Dallas. So I travel back and forth to Dallas and several other places with him through his record label, helping with his artists, along with the security aspect of the side of it with him. So he's a local guy, even though he's not originally from Tunica, but he was here for multiple years. Entrepreneurship in Tunica. Tunica is a small town with big dreams. But the more local businesses that you have that can help feed into those dreams, it's gonna raise the economy of the town. Like, there's no reason for a lot of the empty office spaces we have down here, they shouldn't have mom and pop shops in there. But a lot of people have not figured out what it is that they want to do. The same stuff you'll go to Memphis and buy, you can actually do that same business right here in Tunica. We have some local people that was great doing t-shirts and all that, but they business plan didn't match up the right way. They jumped out and didn't realize the working capital they needed. Then it hurt them in the back end because they're like, oh my God, I gotta go to work at my real job. And they're just something on the side. I put the same effort in my company that I would if I were working for someone else. I put more effort into my company because my standard for what you want, the way you want to operate, and my standard for the way I operate with my people is something totally different. Because I'm still one of those people, I'm still boots on the ground. I still go out and do events with my people. I go out and prove to my people that I will stand out here in the rain with you. I will stand out here in the snow with you and do this job. I will let you go inside of the venue when it's 25 degrees outside, and I will stand at the door and do that job that I paid you to do, just so you know that I'm there for you. My biggest goal that I really want to do in Tunica, and it's going to benefit the county in a major way. Several places I've been looking at to actually open up an indoor state-of-the-art gun range. And if I get this particular spot of land where I can put the building up and do it, not only would that just bring a bunch of revenue in, I can teach the hunter safety course there. I can teach young people about gun safety. On top of that, we can let our local law enforcement use their gun range to train up-and-coming cadets, to re-qualify. There's other law enforcement bodies around here that don't have those facilities. We can charge a fee that we in turn will donate to certain organizations around the town and the county to help. But I got to make sure that it fits just right. And the plan for it is, once I do it, there will be nothing else like it. I hope by people in this community seeing the work that you all doing, that they know that it can be done. It has been done. And the thing about it is, if you see it, and then you have a platform where you can reach out to the people that in control it, like yourself and others, and certain people they might see on this, hey, well, I really want to learn how to do my business. If you're local from Tunica and you want to start a business, I won't charge you to help you start your business. I actually charge a consultant fee to start businesses sometimes. It's based on where's the location and what the business is. But if you're a local young person in Tunica County that want to start your own business, try to learn how to grow it, if I can help you, I will. That's part of me helping everybody around me rise up. Because if I'm just standing on top, then there's gonna be too much people at the bottom, and we're never gonna balance out. So I need everybody on the equal playing field, so we all reach the same goals. We can make Tunica County the gem of the North Delta.
The Rise and Thrive campaign by St. Emerald City is on a mission to inspire, uplift, and empower the entrepreneurial spirit within Tunica. Together, we can make a difference and empower the next generation of business leaders and entrepreneurs. From the Mississippi Delta and beyond, let's rise and thrive.